We are here once again to discuss one of the gravest crimes witnessed by our generation, the genocide committed by ISIS against the Yazidis. Genocide has been called the crime of crimes, the worst thing any human being can do to another. Yet ISIS committed this crime in plain sight. Instead of covering their tracks, they brandished their weapons and left a trail of evidence. Instead of denying responsibility, they boasted online of their ambition to destroy Yazidis. They made videos of their beheadings, and they established a bureaucracy to administer the sale of women's bodies between fighters. ISIS acted as though they would never be held to account for their heinous acts. And they were right. For years, they were not brought to justice until survivors like Nadia Murad fought back. Along with Nadia, I urged this council to establish an investigation so that the evidence would not be lost and the possibility of justice could be preserved. Thanks to leadership from the United Kingdom, the United States, and Iraq, a team of experts led by eminent barrister and soon-to-be ICC prosecutor Karim Khan was sent to Iraq. And today, we can celebrate some of its key accomplishments. The UN team has, for the first time, confirmed that there is clear and convincing evidence that ISIS was responsible for genocide against the Yazidis in Iraq. It has established that thousands of men were executed, shot as they fled, or died of starvation as they sought refuge on Mount Sinjar. And it has confirmed that thousands of women and children were enslaved and subjected to sexual violence with the intent to permanently destroy their capacity to give birth to the next generation of Yazidis. Calling this what it is, genocide, matters to victims. Ask the Armenians how much it matters, even after 100 years. And that is not all. The UN investigation exhumed mass graves across the Sinjar region and identified 103 Yazidis who were finally laid to rest. This included the exhumation of the remains of Nadia's mother and the identification of 2 of her brothers. This long-awaited chance to say goodbye was an essential step for many families to get some closure. A number of women reported that they felt able to get married or move forward with their lives only after marking this solemn moment. And of course, this constitutes key evidence for future trials. The UN team has also gathered thousands of witness statements, as well as ISIS travel documents, medical records, payment logs, fighter rosters, DNA, and data from mobile phones and computers. And with the help of cutting-edge technology provided by Microsoft, they have used facial recognition alongside this evidence to identify a staggering 1,444 potential perpetrators, including 14 principals who are the focus of detailed case files. These are important achievements, and I would like to commend my friend Karim Khan and his team for their extraordinary work, despite the many challenges they faced. But let us remember that this investigation was always meant to be the beginning, not the end. The question has always been, where will this evidence be used? And there is, as yet, no clear answer. So today, I call on states that believe in human rights to commit to holding international trials. Because what exactly is the counter-argument? Are the crimes not brutal enough? They are the gravest crimes known to humankind. Do the perpetrators deserve to be protected? They are a terrorist group supposedly reviled by all. Are these victims not worth the effort? Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, if the UN won't help these victims obtain justice against this group of criminals for this crime, then what kind of system do we have? What is its purpose? The historical record shows that the fuel for violence is impunity, and that we are destined to repeat crimes against humanity if we do not punish them. Justice makes peace possible. because trials allow for attribution of individual blame instead of collective shame. Future perpetrators are put on notice that there are consequences for their crimes, and victims have a chance to heal. The victims of ISIS have consistently called for international trials, and Nadia has done so again today. Now, of course, this does not exclude the role that national courts can play. Ongoing trials in European courts, for instance, are significant. I represent a Yazidi victim in a trial in Germany that is the first to charge ISIS with genocide. But such trials are necessarily limited in number. And the UN has consistently reported that domestic trials in the territorial states, Iraq and Syria, do not meet international standards. So, Excellencies, an international process is needed. And as I have said before at this Council, there are many precedents that could be followed. The Security Council can create a court, as was done for the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda. Iraq's courts can be provided with international support, as was done for genocide trials in Cambodia. Iraq could create a court by treaty with the UN, as was done for Sierra Leone. And Iraq or this Council could empower the International Criminal Court to exercise its jurisdiction. Excellencies, as this meeting is hosted by the United States, let me add one final point. I am really hopeful that with new US leadership, there can be new opportunities to revive a legacy of support for international justice. It was an American president who insisted on trials of the Nazis, and an American prosecutor who opened the trials at Nuremberg. In the 90s, the United States led the way for UN trials against those responsible for genocide in Bosnia and Rwanda. When I addressed the Security Council 2 years ago, the policy of the United States was the same as Russia's: no support for an international court. But Secretary of State Antony Blinken has signaled a new approach, saying that human rights will be put back to the center of American foreign policy, and that he will revive America's legacy of support for the international rule of law. This case would be a good place to start. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's often said that criminal trials can help to restore the dignity of victims by providing a public acknowledgement of wrongs that they have suffered. But a trial would not restore the dignity of Yazidis. This was never taken away. Nor can I imagine anything more dignified than survivors like Nadia seeking justice rather than revenge. Dignity means being worthy of respect. And it is our dignity, not theirs, that is at stake. Thank you.